I started buying those cheaper properties, doing Section 8, getting the cash flow. So the cash flow started coming from 2,000 to 3,000 to 6,000
Oh, yeah.
to 10,000. So I'm like, okay, now I can buy more. So I'm buying portfolios. I'm buying like 5 properties at a time and have my contractors fix it up. So I was doing that. And 2021, that's when everybody was tired of the lockdown. Everybody wanted to travel, right? In Atlanta, it was like everybody was like, oh, Airbnb, this, Airbnb, that, travel nurses and that. And I was like, well, I'm already an investor out of state, right? How about I take this business model and put it in smaller towns that have hospitals where I'm already investing? So that's what I took, that the same model, and I'll buy properties that are like 80,000, a 12-unit apartment complex for 150, 145, and I'll renovate it, put 80,000 in it and rent it out to 12 nurses. One property was bringing me like 12,000. One of them was bringing me like 22,000.
Hey there, do you want to skip the trial and error in real estate investing? Visit my website, dwanderful.com. I will show you how to do double your income in no time at all. A broke single mom fired from Denny's becomes America's most sought after real estate investor. How does that happen? Well, that's me, Dwan Benton Twyford, aka Dwanderful. But it doesn't stop there. I, along with some amazing guests, are going to teach you everything there is to know about investing. Listen, success is not exclusive. I can teach you, you can have it too. I can share with you. So I want you to join me for season 5 of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. Cheers. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I am so excited about my guest today. I'm going to try to say her name without butchering it. Yamundow.
That's very close.
Yamundow. Close enough?
Yes, you got it.
And we're going to call her Yamu because y'all know I'm Dwan. I don't like to be called Don, Dwayne, Dwen, all the things. So, but I got to take a good crack at it and do my best that I can. Camara. So I'm excited to have her on. She's our Wicked Smart Woman of the Day. And I am Dwan Benton Twyford. I'm your host. This is the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. And we are very excited that you are here with us today. Our motto at Dwanderful is people before profits. So if that is something that resonates with you, you're at the right place. I'm your girl, we're your girls, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. So, Yamu, how are you today?
I'm excited. Thank you so much. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm excited too. I just found out you live in Georgia, so that is like such a great place.
I do. It's warm up here. It's very similar to Africa, so I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My number one cousin that I see the most, she lives in Atlanta. And, we do a lot of speaking up there. So I get to see her 4 or 5 times a year. And my aunt, her mother lives in Tennessee. So when I was there about 2 months ago, she had brought her mom over. My Aunt Wanda's 97.
Wow.
I spent a whole week with them in Atlanta. And I was like, oh, that died and gone to heaven. I got my favorite aunt, I got my favorite cousin. She's 97. She still goes hiking for 2 miles a day.
Wow.
I was like, oh, this is the greatest week of my life right now. It was so great.
That's amazing. 97. We all want to be 97 one day.
And that's what I'm saying.
Almost 100.
My Aunt Wanda does not take a pill for anything.
Wow.
She is the healthiest person. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't understand, because we all have all these other things in the family, but she's always eating very vegetarian.
Okay.
She cooks all of her own food all day. She's always eating, always healthy, always good. And she walks. She used to walk like 5 miles a day. And so now she's down to 2. She's like, I want to do 2 miles. I'm like, but like you're 97.
Wow.
The fact that you walk 2 miles every day
I can't
in
even
Tennessee on a little trail that's in wood is like astounding to me.
Yes.
But she goes, I don't drink, I don't curse, I don't smoke, and I've never done drugs. She's like one of those pure Southern women as they come. And but she loves that sweets and all that sugary stuff. So I'm like, well, if that's what it takes, I mean, she's healthier than I am.
Yeah.
She's adorable. Okay, so we'd like to start off with a drink. I am having some Bai. What are you having today?
I'm having just water. I'm trying to be like you.
Cheers.
Drink healthy. Cheers.
We always like to have a little toast. So everybody's watching. You guys know, have a drink, take a big stretch, just like, oh, and just shake off whatever you got going on, and spend the next 40 minutes or so with us. Have some fun, have some laughs, and hopefully we will brighten your day. All right, so we basically just kind of like to throw our guests like straight up into the wolves.
Mhm,
And so I'm just going to ask you to tell us your name, how to
mhm.
reach you on your socials,
Yes.
and then just quickly, like 2 sentences, what you do. And then we're just going to backtrack and how you found out to become Miss Yamu, who is on the podcast with the most wonderful real estate person ever.
Of course.
So
Well,
we're
thank you
pretty
so much
basic.
for having me. Thank you for having me. So my name is Yamundow Camara. A lot of people cannot say my name, but thank God my friends already cut my name short. They call me Yamu. So every time somebody asks me what's your name, I say it's Yamundow, but call me Yamu. So I'm
That's a
originally
great nickname, though. Yamu is great.
I'm originally from West Africa, and I am a real estate investor and also a data scientist.
Okay, and how do we reach you on all your socials?
Oh, yeah, my social media, you can reach me at Building Wealth from Rentals on Instagram. You can also uh, check on YouTube, Building Wealth from Rentals, and also on Facebook, Building Wealth from Rentals.
Okay, I will make sure I follow you today. So, building wealth from rentals. So, I already like that. So, that
Mhm.
means you are building wealth from rentals.
Yes.
That's your thing. So, can I ask you how old you are?
I'm 35.
35. Oh, my daughter is your age.
Oh,
You
look
know,
at you.
just such
I think you're gonna
puppies.
be
I'm
like
like,
your favorite aunt.
yes, yes. That's like, yeah, I had 33, 35, 37. So but I was a single mom for a long time. So my Ayla's 35. Then I married Bill. I got two extra amazing bonus kids. They're 33 and 37. So it's like, sometimes I'm like, how on earth do I have a 35-year-old child? Because I still feel like I'm 35 years old. So that's awesome. Okay, so you came, so I don't really know. So we're going to find out. So you came from West Africa.
Mhm.
How long ago did you come?
So I came from West Africa in 2016. I grew up in a small country in a village in Africa called the Gambia. And I was raised as an orphan. My mom passed when I was 2 and my dad when I was 11. So in Africa, the women are always, in my culture, women are always betrothed, like when you're born, they already know who you're gonna be married to. So my sister already knew who she was gonna marry. She got married early. My dad wasn't feeling well, so she took me and my brother with her to her husband's village, extended family village, and that's where we live. So we live in compounds, like a whole family. So let's say you and 5 of your cousins will all build houses and have kids, 2 kids, wives, 2 wives, 3 wives, and it all grows to be a big, huge family. So it's called a compound. So I had to move with my brother and her with her to her husband's extended family. So I grew up as an orphan in an abusive home,
Mm.
and we'll get into it today.
Okay, so as an orphan in an abusive home.
Mhm.
So then in 2016,
Mhm.
so you were still like in your late 20s.
Yeah, so for
And
me,
you said, I'm moving to America.
oh no, no, no. So this, oh wow, it's a long story behind it. So for me, the abuse happening at home, the physical and the sexual, emotional abuse happening in the home between for me and my brother as well. But for me, I channeled mine to school. So I was really good in school and I would take first in my class and then in the village. So a girl child is not like pushed to go to school. Like if you
Oh, I
get up
know.
if you get to grade 7, it's like, oh, it's time for you to get married. So for me, after middle school, my friends were already getting married, my playmates, and they were like, she has to go get married too, because I already had somebody that I was supposed to get married to. So my auntie was like, she's really good in school, and we're not really paying any money towards the school. The school is paying, she's getting scholarship. Let him go marry someone else, or let him just wait for her to go at least finish high school. So she kept lobbying for me, she and my sister. And that's how I got pushed all the way to college, time for college. They were like, no. So the elders, the men, make the decision. They were like, nope, it's time for her to get married. Her colleagues are baby number 2, and she's here, wants to go to school. A girl child hasn't have to go to that. Like she already has, she can read and write. That's enough. But I really wanted to go to college. So I got a scholarship to study. Our university was new then. So my country is colonized by the British.
Yep.
So we will have colleges from the UK do exchange programs or have some scholars come and teach us for a year or so, like a pro bono kind of
Hmm.
work. So there was a program introduced at the time that I joined as computer science. So I was really good in mathematics. So that made sense to me. So that's what I did. And I had a scholarship because it's maths. I did a major in computer science and a minor in mathematics. So the scholarships are not many, like they're not a few,
Yeah.
but chances are higher for me because not many girls in computer science and mathematics. So I got the scholarship, completed it. In the final semester, I got an internship to work as a software engineer in one of there were only two software companies. And the connections for you to get jobs like this was like coming from my village that has no power and no water, running water. It was more like somebody has to connect you. Like you have to have like the kids from the city, their parents work in the government, and the scholarship come and it dwill down to them. Nothing gets to people like us. So
That's right.
one of my friends, family member knows the person that was opening that software company, and they were looking for people. So they hired her, and when she went for internship, the boss told her, "Do you know anybody? Because you're really good. Do you know anybody, who can come and work for me?" She's like, "Well, I have this friend. I can call her. She's really good." And then she called me, and then it was like, "My boss wants you to come." And I was like, "I don't have any money to come to the city right now. I'm at school." She was like, "Just borrow money and come. We'll give it to you." So I went, did an interview, passed the interview, and he was like, "You're hired today." So I started working there, and he would give me stipends, and I used that for transportation because sometimes I go to school with no food. And
Oh,
yeah, so that's how I started. So during that time, I was like, there are not many girls doing IT, especially computer science or mathematics. So I started a nonprofit organization that teaches girls how to code. So we'll take the used
you
computers.
started that.
I started that. So the
Look at you.
computers from the work, the used one they're not using, we take that and I mobilize some of the guy friends that I work with. I would just go from different villages and just teach them basic IT stuff. Just the school, and the schools will send girls and we teach them. So it kind of blew up in different regions, and people were adopting doing it, and people were getting donations to get computers to teach people, sensitize them on IT and stuff like that. So there's this program that was created by the US government by the time Obama was the president. It's called Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. So
Yes.
it's a fellowship that take focus on young community leaders that are doing amazing work. So they keep sending me this link at work, and I'm like, because when I go home, there's no internet. So I have internet when I go to the city to work, right? So I say, well, I'll apply tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't think they want me. These people are looking for people that are fighting domestic violence, war, and amazing things. Not this IT stuff. But I was like, well, it's free. Let me just apply. So I apply, and they called me to the interview to the US Embassy. I went after the interview, they sent us an email and said, you are going to the next phase of the interview. And then I kept going. And then I was like, oh, this is going somewhere. And then
Ah,
yeah, eventually out of 40,000 applicants, they chose me to come, and I study at Northwestern University, and I get to meet President Obama before he left office in 2016.
that
So
is crazy. That must have been such a dream.
yes, I was on the news. My auntie was so proud. My sister, they were taking all the accolades. Like people were coming to them, "Whoa, you guys did great." And I'm like, I'm the one that worked hard. What do you mean? But she was like, "Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. We knew this would happen." But I was like, "Okay, you can take all the accolades because
Hey,
you did good." But yeah.
and then you got to stay in America.
Yeah, so before I came, I was like, I don't want to go back. If I go back, I'm still gonna be marrying that guy because even though he has a wife already, we have multiple wives. They have multiple, which is the normal culture. And I'm like, I'll be second or third wife. I want to go back. So by the time I was doing the interviews and I'm going from one interview to another, I said, let me apply for colleges here. So I had a friend here that helped me pay for the application fee. I think it was like $30 or less than $100. And I applied to one university in Illinois, and I applied to all the scholarship on their website. Some of the scholarship I don't even qualify for. So I saw one that's for international students, but it's international students that are already in the university, like maybe they're on their first or second semester, right? But I was like, let me just apply. I mean, after I went and checked, I realized, oh, I did not qualify for this. And I was like, I guess that's why they didn't message me, email me back. And then a few days later, they emailed me and said, well, we never do this. This is the first time we did it. Your application was really great. We want to give you a shot. So they sent me they will say, we'll give you an interview, but it's not guaranteed. It's a competitive. We have so many international students here that qualify, but it's the first time we're doing it. So here's the Skype link for the interview. The interview was at midnight in my time. I was like, first of all, I don't have internet at home. I don't have a
Huh.
laptop. I have to be at work. So I told my boss, hey, can I stay tonight? And he was like, for what? And I was like, I have an interview from the US and it's midnight here. He was like, well, I'll tell the caretaker who takes care of the office that you'll be spending the night. So they know that you'll be here. So I did the interview. That's the first time I've seen 5 white people together. Because in my village, you don't see, you don't see. I was like, oh, I was like, white
You're
people
like, who are all these white men asking me all these questions?
in their suits too, like in the movies. I was like, this is like the movies.
That's
But
right.
a village girl, like I've never seen that before. So I was like, okay, I was panicking at the beginning, but God helped me. All the questions I was answering them and I was going, and they didn't show any emotions like, oh, you're doing great or anything. They
Oh
really go,
no, stone face cold.
yeah, don't fail. I was like, maybe I'm not. I was like, whatever it is, I tried. And this is a blessing for me to even come to this level for them to even, consider me. And that's how it happened the next day. At the email after the interview, they were like, don't contact us. We'll let you know. It's a whole process. It's intense. There's so many candidates, blah, blah. The next day I go to work. There's an email saying you were so impressive. We can't wait to have you at the university. Full scholarship.
Woo! That's how
Full
God works, honey. God shined his light on you.
Yeah, so that's how it works. So when I came for the fellowship, after that completed, I started the master's program with the university. So the scholarship is more like I work for the university, analyze data, I like a data analyst job,
Yeah.
and they with my tuition and give me $1,000 stipend.
Wow. And that was at which college?
2016, yes, it's college,
At which
master's.
one?
So University of Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, so you're in Illinois.
Yeah.
So
So
you
from
were kind of
Northwestern.
all over before you. Now, how did you land over in Georgia?
I know. So at the time when they didn't know that when I come for the fellowship, because my auntie told her, oh, she's gonna come for the fellowship, she's gonna come back and then she can get married or whatever you guys want, right? Finally. But then she didn't tell them about the second scholarship. So the plan was when I come, I can continue and do my program. But because I have 2 visas, one for presidential guest, one for student visa, I have to leave with one and come back in. So I left. I met President Obama on a Thursday, I believe. This was August on the 5th. I had to leave to go to Africa and come back like in 2 days. And it takes like one and a day, 1.5 day or 2 days to go. So when I got back, I left all my stuff at Northwestern and only took the bags that were gonna be for their gifts. And when I went there, dropped it the next day, I'm on a flight to come back. So most people did not even get to see me. They just heard, oh, she's
That's
here.
okay. You need to get out while you can still get out.
Yeah, so they didn't know, oh, she's not coming back for this marriage. And they were like, my auntie was like, now that they're off your back, the dowry and all of that has to be paid back because, we do dowry. It's more like you have to give back the engagement ring, basically. So that's what's happened. And I met my husband, me and my husband got married in 2017. So I met my husband in college back home. Well, we were friends then, but he had come to the US. He's two years ahead of me in college. So he had a scholarship to study here in the US as well. So we reconnected and got married. So I told my
Here in
auntie,
the
I'll find
States.
you here in the
Yeah,
US.
so
Yes.
you have one husband, one wife, married in
Yeah.
America, and you're out of all of that.
Yeah, out of all of that. So he's a different tribe. So from my tribe, and usually they don't want that. They want you to marry in your tribe. But that's how it happened. We're married now with 2 kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
that honestly, I could just talk about your story all day long. I
Mhm.
mean, it's amazing, like how the different countries and the different cultures and, raised kind of like an orphan and on a compound and with the abuse and the sexual and the physical, like that's so much that some people could never overcome that.
Yeah.
And then you came over here and you got all this great education, and then you married someone that you knew that's over
Mhm.
here, and you have like this amazing life. And all of those things like prepared you, I guess, along the way to
Mhm.
be the amazing Yami that you are today.
Well, thank you. It's something that I look at. Sometimes I cry when I think about like what I've been through. Like when I have deja vu, like when I see a box, my mind goes to when I wasn't allowed to sleep on the bed. I was sleeping on the floors because I used to pee in bed. And if abused kids usually have that trend in them.
I do.
And I was forced to sleep on the floor, like dirt floor, not carpet or anything. Like this is poverty in a village. And you haven't seen an African village, just Google it and see typical African village, how it looks like. So that like when I see boxes or I smell something, my mind goes to an abuse that happened
Oh,
to
of
me.
course it does.
Yeah, so yes, it's painful, but I'm grateful for what God has done in my life, what He has done for me. So when I completed my master's program 2018, my husband then used to live in California. He used to work for this company, payroll company ADP, and they moved him to Georgia before I graduated. So when we got married, it was in my because my auntie was like, they're forcing me for you to get married. If you're not gonna come back, then you need to find somebody. So before I graduated, we got married, and when I completed, I just moved to Georgia to meet him here. So
Nice.
that's
So I'm assuming he's a nice guy that treats you well and all the abuse is behind you and you're in a
yeah,
wonderful, loving, godly marriage.
yes,
And
yes.
tell
Thank
him Antoine will come there and kick his ass.
you. No, he's
I don't
amazing.
I don't tolerate that. I'm mama bear for everyone. I don't tolerate that. I'm the
I'll
type that'll
let him
come and
know.
say, listen,
So make sure he's in check. I'll let him know.
I'll come and pick him up and take him up to my house and with my backhoe and we'll never find that body. My daughter was in an abusive one. I was like, listen, you touch that girl again, I'm gonna kill you while you're sleeping. I'm gonna bury you in the backyard by the dogs. No
I
one ever
hate
find you.
I hate bullies. I hate people that abuse, especially people that abuse kids.
Oh man, me too. Me too. I am
Yeah.
such a mama bear till and I've got like my little 9-year-old granddaughter here with me now. And I'm just like, we were talking about that in bed, laying in bed last night, just talking about it. And I said, no, Mimi is like the protective one of the family. I know we
Mhm.
have Pappy. I know you have a mom and dad, but I'm the type if we're walking down the street and something comes up, I'm stepping in front of everybody and I will kill a mofo. So nobody hurt anybody, my kids, none of my kids, nothing's ever happened. None of my daughters. I said, no, no,
Yeah.
Mimi don't play like that.
Crazy too about my kids. Looking at my kids next. So when you see a child, you're like, how can somebody do
To a
anything to
child.
so innocent? Yeah, it's just beyond me.
It is beyond me. It's they so many kids have their innocence stolen, it's and
Yeah.
it's a shame it doesn't have to happen, but there has to be adults and like, you're 35, you got kids, so you're a full grown adult now. People like you have to watch out for that.
Oh,
And there's no way to stop it if other people don't get into, oh, I don't want to get involved. It's like, yeah, but you know what? You have to. Kids
yeah.
can't defend
'Cause
themselves.
when does it stop? Who's gonna stop it? If you don't get involved, it's never
That's
gonna
it.
stop.
I'm with you. Okay, so I love your story. I could really talk about your story forever. You are literally the American dream. You came from
Oh,
some place and poverty, and you came to America the right way, like through the documents and not crossing over the border down in
mhm.
Mexico, coming in with like drug addicts and gang members, and you came in and you got all your papers, you got a degree, you're smart. It's like, ah, I wish we had more people like you.
Thank you.
I look at the Mexican border and see all those people just piling in with nothing and sending little kids just alone. It's like these poor kids. Like, I don't know how any of them are ever going to make it. They need to be in the right system, like the presidential thing and meeting the president. Like, how thrilling was that?
Was amazing. He was amazing. It was amazing to meet him and having that opportunity to coming from a village from nothing to that. It was mind blowing to
Did you get
me.
to meet him at the White House?
Yeah, no, we met at a hotel nearby the White House. So it was like a conference setting.
Nice. Is he
Yeah.
like gorgeous and big smile in person?
He was gorgeous and he was really funny. It was a few days before his birthday, I believe. I met him August 3rd. I think that was a day before his birthday or day after. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but they were like, oh, you can say happy birthday to him and stuff. He wasn't really, he just walked in the hall. They were like Secret Service everywhere. They were like, okay, he's gonna walk in any of these doors because they don't really tell you what
Oh
door.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
They
just
keep him
went
safe.
yeah, I was expecting, oh, that door, and I'm looking like this, and he just walked like this. And I'm like, it's him. All the training that they gave me about how to behave, everything went away.
Oh, of course it does. It's like meeting the queen. You're just like, curtsy? I don't know. I don't know. All right, so now you have all that amazing, crazy knowledge. You are clearly smart as a whip, and
Thank
you
you.
are building wealth from rentals.
Yes.
So, how did that transition happen?
Yeah. So a lot of people
I'm
was
a
like,
big fan of rentals myself, so I love to hear how this happened.
of course, of course. A lot of people ask me that question, like, how did you know you want to invest in real estate? So it goes back to me, 8-year-old, 10 years, laying down on the floor. I go to the neck to the shopkeeper and have the shopkeeper give me boxes, like moving boxes, empty boxes. And that's what I will use to sleep on. In the morning, I pee on them, I go throw them out, right? So at night, of course, they're boxed. I'm sitting right on the floor. If it rains, the door is right there. So at night, I'll wake up and kill the box from my neck, from the wall, and stuff like that. So my goal, so if you're going through anything, your goal is like, if you're thirsty, all you want to do is drink, right? If you're hungry, all you want to do is eat. You don't care about anything. So for me, it was like my goal as a child was like, I'm jealous of kids. I look up to kids that have a house, that have a mom, they have a dad, they have this. Those are the things that I look up to. So for me, it's like, one day I grow up, I'm gonna buy a house. I didn't know it was gonna be multiple houses, but I said I'm gonna get a bed, I'm gonna get a toilet, I'm gonna have pillows. So those are the things that I used to dream about. So I always knew I wanted that. I was like, I'm gonna work so hard and get a house of my own, right? And now I can't buy myself a mom, but I can buy, if I work hard, I can
I'll be
buy
your adoptive mom. You can call me for anything, girl. You're the same age as my kids. I will help you through all the things in life.
Thank you. Thank you. So when
I
I
mean,
came,
with all my heart. I love you so much.
oh, thank you so much. It's gonna make me cry. But then goes back to when I was in college, when I was doing my master's program, I was given $1,000 stipend. Almost 400, 450, or about 500 goes to student insurance, which is very expensive international medical insurance because it's a short insurance, right? And then the 500, I use it for bus fare to go to the campus and back. And I have a roommate that I could share a room with, so my expenses are less on rent and internet and all that stuff. So I'll be left with maybe $50, $40, and I'll use that for food. So of course it's not enough.
For the whole month?
Yeah, for the whole month. So what I'll do is I'll go to the university. This is what I do. I go buy noodles. Also, when I'm tired of eating noodles, I go to the auditoriums in the university. Where they have events and stuff like that. They have
Yep.
lemonade and crackers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just go outside and wait for the person organizing his packing and stuff. I'll say, hey, you want to, I'll help them pack. And I say, hey, what are you going to do with this? They're like, oh, we're going to throw them. Oh, I said, can I take it? They're like, yeah. So I take those bottles and stuff and I keep them home in the crackers. So that keep me. Sometimes it's cheese. They have cheese and grapes, the fruit.
Yeah.
So I just take those home and that's what I will use. But during that time, the student have a board where if you want a roommate, you can just say, hey, I'm looking for a roommate, or we're looking for 3 roommates. We only have 2. We need 1 more. So the more roommates you have, the lesser you get the pay. So I was like, okay, if I have a roommate that's like more roommates, I'll be able to save money, right? So I can put that to feeding. So I realized what these parents will do is buy a property close by the college, have their child stay in 1 bedroom and rent out the other rooms.
Yep.
Rent the rooms out to us, like international students, for a mattress. So in 1 room, you can have 3 to 4 mattresses. So I realized with one property, like 1 room is paying for the whole mortgage. I was like, this is amazing. I'll have to do this when I start working. So that's what I was working. I was like, I started investing, looking into real estate, like reading real estate. I was so invested in it, like podcasts. I love reading. So I can't afford the book. So what I will do is read, watch interviews, people's interviews on real estate, their portfolio, their journey, and join networking events that are free online. That's what I will do. And eventually, when I graduated, I moved to Georgia with my husband, and I have my son then, and I have to, with international student, when you graduate, you have to get a job within 1 year and have a company sponsor your visa, or then you have to go back. So I was terrified. I was like, I need to get a job. So I'm applying for jobs.
I'm not going back.
Yeah, I'm not going back to that life. So I escaped that. I'm not going back. So I apply for every job that I see. And eventually I got this working with this recruiter, and he sent me this job application. I didn't even know what the CDC was. I just applied. I just wanted a job. Okay. And after the interview, they were like, the interview has so many rules, like don't be quiet, do that, do that. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll just do it. I've been doing the interviews and I'm not getting it. Sometimes I'll get the job and they were like, oh, but we can't sponsor your visa. So you just have to find out how to get a green card somewhere else or something. So I can't do that. So I'll just let go of that job. So with this job, the recruiter didn't even ask me. I think he assumed I already have a green card, which I didn't. I was a student visa. So I did the interview. The interview was like, at the beginning was chaos because they said, be quiet, let it no noise or whatever. The apartment complex that I was living at, I went to the porch, the back porch, so I can have quiet and peace, close the slide door and everything. And then the apartment complex decided to cut the lawn that day. So I ran with the laptop inside and I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know they were going to cut the lawn today. Everything was I was like, hello? They're like, yeah, go ahead. Like they're frustrated. So I continued the interview. I was like, oh, there goes that interview. I don't think I'm gonna do, but I did my best anyways. 30 minutes, 1 hour later, the recruiter called me and said, did you even know who you interviewed for? And I was like, no. He said, well, it was the government. That was a CDC. Do you know what CDC is? I was like, I'm Googling it right now. Because I'm from a tiny village. Like, how am I
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to?
how would you know the CDC?
Yeah. So he was like, well, they love you so much. They want to offer you the job. So I got the job through there. And he was like, oh, send me your green card on all your documents and stuff. I said, well, I don't have a green card. He said, what? I was like, oh my God, there goes that job. He was like, okay, I'll call you back. Then he went ahead and called me back and said, well, it's fine. They're good with that. And that's how I started working there. And this was 2019. So I worked there for like 6 months. Then COVID happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then COVID happened. So that was that. But during that time, I had saved up at least 8,000 from the three,
Okay.
4 months worth of work. And I've already been reading real estate and watching podcasts and stuff. I'm a reader, so I buy books on Amazon real estate books, and I'll listen to podcasts like Bigger Pockets and
Did you
all
read
that.
my books right there? See my 3 books?
Yep, they did.
I
I
have
saw your
3
book.
bestsellers right there. You better be reading my books, woman.
I'm gonna be reading it. You're gonna send it to me and I'm gonna buy them. I have to read them. I have
They're
to
good.
read everything. Yeah. So that's how I started. I got $8,000 saved up. So it's like everything that I've learned from the books and the podcast is usually what they say is connect with a local bank, connect with a local bank. So I said, okay, where else do I know that I can buy? Because I can't buy where I live in Georgia, but let me see where I can find that's cheaper. So I went back to my roots, which is Illinois, right? I went to college there. So I look outside of Chicago, 1 hour, 2 hours away from Chicago to a smaller town where I can afford. I found this property that is 52,000, and the person was going through a divorce, the couple, and they just wanted to sell. They listed it for 75 or something like that. I got it as 52 on the contract. So what happened is when I contacted the local banks, most of them with my accent, they just hang up. They don't even know what I'm saying, which is understandable because I couldn't understand what some of them say, but they will hang up. But I call most of them and some will say, no, you're not qualified, or they don't tell me why I don't qualify. So I get one bank to listen to me, and the lady was like, I see that you have so much passion for this. If I were you, it's like you're a newborn baby because your social security is new. If I were you, go open a credit card. I didn't know what a credit card was, right? Because I was just given a debit card and I was just given $1,000 stipend. So I didn't know what that was. I was like, you work for CDC, right? Go get a secure line of credit, build the credit, open a Capital One or Discover card, and start building, paying utilities and all that stuff. And then I didn't know how to drive, so I don't have any expense. I take the bus to work, the train, and
Yeah.
back, and the bus would pick me up from the train station back. So I didn't have any expenses except daycare for the kid. And one of the ladies that I knew that's from back from my country, I met at the grocery store, babysits the baby for me. So I pay her daughter $200. So I didn't have any like a lot of expense. So I
Nice.
told her, yeah. So she was like, go do that and come back in 2 years. You'll be ready to buy a property. I was like, I've learned so much about real estate in this short period of time. I don't want the fire to die down. I want it now. So I went back and I told her, well, I've done everything you said. I've opened the credit cards and everything. I've started building it. However, I found this property. It's 52,000. The down payment would be like less. I've negotiated for the seller to pay for the closing costs. They just want to sell and be done and settled. And I say it's already rented. This is how much they say it's rented now. Here are the numbers. So I'm a data analyst. So I presented to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not promising anything, but I'll give it to the underwriting team. And the next day she was like, well, the underwriting team said, worst case scenario, one tenant will be able to pay your mortgage, which will be $350. And it's all on Section 8. So they knew it's guarantee money. So that's how that happened. And I started with that one property and scaled.
Are you enjoying this episode? Make sure you don't miss a single solitary episode. Click subscribe, like, follow, all the things so you'll get notifications whenever time a new show comes out. And let your friends know about it too. It's amazing. All right, so if you want to learn more about real estate investing, just reach out to dwanderful.com. I'll send you some free stuff. Back to the show. Nice. Wow, I'm telling you, what a great story. I love to hear how people what the first step was and the second step of your journey. I mean, your journey starts back as a child.
Yeah.
to, like, escape and then all this education, and then now you're in America and you're, like, living the American dream. You're buying rentals.
Yes.
And
Thank
so
you.
now that you have that person, so now what is it that you mainly do now?
So I started buying those cheaper properties, doing Section 8, getting the cash flow. So the cash flow started coming from 2,000 to 3,000 to 6,000
Oh,
to
yeah.
10,000. So I'm like, okay, now I can buy more. So I'm buying portfolios. I'm buying like 5 properties at a time and have my contractors fix it up. So I was doing that. And 2021, that's when everybody was tired of the lockdown. Everybody wanted to travel, right? In Atlanta, it was like everybody was like, oh, Airbnb, this, Airbnb, that, travel nurses and that. And I was like, well, I'm already an investor out of state, right? How about I take this business model and put it in smaller towns that have hospitals where I'm already investing? So that's what I took, that the same model, and I'll buy properties that are like 80,000, a 12-unit apartment complex for 150, 145, and I'll renovate it, put 80,000 in it and rent it out to 12 travel nurses. One property was bringing me like 12,000.
Oh,
One of
yeah.
them was bringing me like 22,000. So that's how I kept. First, the bank was like, "This model is not going to work here. This is a small town." I was like, "Well, it will work. My mortgage is only 1,200. If it doesn't work out, I can still rent it on market rent, and it's going to cash flow." When I did it, the lenders themselves asked me to show them how to do it, and they started doing it themselves. So I rent to business professionals. I contract with companies, insurance companies, and I'll house their people. So I'll buy the properties, fix it up while my contractors are fixing it. Whatever they're done, whatever unit is done, I just buy stuff, beds, couches, TVs on Amazon, and I just ship it there, and I'll just travel and furnish it over the weekend and come back.
That's
So now,
it.
now I don't travel. My property managers do the furnishing for me because I have a whole team now, but I used to do it myself. So that's how I scale my portfolio. So I do midtown rentals, and now I buy in Georgia, I buy in different states, and I just entered the commercial property. I just purchased my first self-storage facility 3 months ago.
I tell you, girl, you have such huge things in front of you.
Thank you.
Such huge things in front of you. And, when I first started buying my first rentals, I went when my daughter was only 8 months old. My husband and I split up like really unexpectedly. And I
Mhm.
lost my house and my car and like everything. I had $75 in my purse. I was
Wow.
like, the heck am I going to do right now? So I actually got into real estate investing. And my first rentals for like a decade, I bought all Section 8. Because I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, these women, same situation. They've got no man. They have multiple kids. They, you want to raise your kids in a house, a
Mhm.
nice house. And so I still to this day, I'm a big fan. I've been renting Section 8 rentals for 30 years and I still love it. But I work with the moms that are using the program properly. Like
Yes.
they're supposed to go to college, get a degree, and then when they get a job, then the government pays, they take like whatever, $50 out of their paycheck and they match it, and they match
Mhm.
it up until they can qualify for a first time home buyer's loan.
Okay.
And then they're able to buy a house and have home ownership and the job, and they're off Section 8. And so
Mhm.
I've had most of my girls over the last 25 years work all the way through the system and get college degrees and then they always want to buy my rental. This
Isn't
one,
that
I've
the
been living
success
here for
story?
10 years. You
That's
changed
a
my
success
life. I want to
story.
buy this rental. I was like, no, not that rental. So I end up selling if they do want it, I sell that rental to them because they worked really hard
That's
for
their
it.
home. Yeah, that's their home. Yeah.
That's their home. And so I'm a when you said that, I'm like, and a lot of people like, oh, well, I don't like those people in Section 8. It's like, isn't it what does that mean? I said, those are just poor people that need a break. And there's a system. Now there are other people, I'm sure you'll know
Yeah.
as you go along, that are Section 8 lifers. Their mom was on it, they're on it, their grandma's on it. They're lifers. So I don't ever rent to lifers. I rent to people that are like, I want to get ahead in life and I want
Yeah.
to break this.
I just need help right now.
I
Yes.
need this I want to break this poverty streak that my family is stuck in. But
Mhm.
almost all the people that have rented from me, and one guy had only one male tenant. He had 6 kids. His wife passed away, and he's like he worked at a butcher for the Publix grocery stores with a butcher, and he still had Section 8. And he's like, I don't want to give my kids to all the relatives. I'm gonna keep my kids together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the black community, I think a lot of black men don't always want to keep all their kids together. They're like,
Mhm.
well, you can live with the aunts, and there's other people that will help me. And William's like, no. All my kids staying with me. I'm raising them all. I don't want no one in my family. Everybody wants my kids. It's like I'm raising my own kids. And I was like, honey, you can rent from me till that last child turns 18. I had no problem with you. And he was one of my most favorite tenants ever because he would work on the house and the kids would work in the yard. He's like, I'm not splitting up my family. Everybody wants to split up my family and help out. And they think I can't raise my kids, and I'm raising my kids.
I love that for him.
I know. I loved him. I hated to see him leave. I was like, oh, I was heartbroken. But raised his whole family in my rental, and I was like, so I said, "You can buy it, if you want." He's like, "Nah, the kids have moved out. It's just me." But I was like so proud. So I feel really proud about being able to help like that because I
Yes.
was a broke single mom and I had my car repossessed and I lost my house in
You
foreclosure
have
and
the
I had
same
no
story.
money.
The story, yeah. We
And
got
it's
same.
like I was fired from Denny's. I worked at Denny's. I got fired at 3 o'clock in the morning from Denny's. It's like, where do you go from there? And I had all the comforts of being raised in America.
But
So
look at you now. Look at you now. Bestseller. Ooh,
bestseller. And so
look at
now I'm just
you.
like, the best thing that ever happened to me.
You're awesome.
It is the best thing that ever happened to me. So, okay, so now you're doing, so you started off with you bought your own house that had a tenant. So your first thing you bought was a rental.
Yeah, so I buy a rental and the property manager. So when I close on the property, that's when I realized the property manager lied, the agent lied, the numbers were not true. One of the tenant hasn't paid for months. One of them was about to leave. The other one hasn't paid for like 2 months. So what I did is the one that just left, I just convert because I was like, this is all my money. This is all I have in this
That's it.
property. Yeah, there's nothing else. So I was like, I need to fix this. And I learned everything that could go wrong in a deal went wrong. Like the numbers were not
Sometimes
true.
that's not a bad thing though, because you really
It's not.
you get thrown into
It's
the
not.
deep end.
It's not. It's not because if I didn't learn that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So what happened, thanks to God, He's helped me every step of the way. And I was like, this is it. I have to fix this. So the unit that was empty, we cleaned it out and rented out because the person was moving out because they couldn't pay. And remember, you couldn't evict anyone during COVID time.
No, you could not.
So we rented that unit to Section 8 that was vacant. And the lady downstairs, she hasn't paid for months, the previous owner. So now that I'm the owner, the money comes to me. So what happened is the city had they were helping out, in the COVID, what's it called? The relief that they were
Yeah,
giving.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so many organizations were giving relief for rents, people that are back on rent. So, but you have to apply with your landlord together, and the rent goes to the landlord. So it's not like, oh, I'm applying, you take the money. So it goes to the landlord. So we applied together, and she won about 8,000, close to 9,000, and I used that to fix up the other unit upstairs. I gave that lady cash for keys to leave the one upstairs, and then I converted that unit as well and rented on Section 8, and it's been over cash flowing 2,000. But then it was like 1,009 something. Now it's over because rent has increased. It's over 2,000 a month. So I was like, I need to do it again. So I started looking in other states, other properties as well. So I found one in Cleveland and I started growing there as well.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, honey, you have just really hit the nail on the head with every little thing that you're doing. Now, what does your husband do?
He's a software engineer.
So he's a software engineer, so he's got his job. He likes it. You're out here and you're being the mogul and you're the millionaire maker.
He doesn't like real estate. I force him, but he's like, that's all your stuff. He's not
Yeah,
into
but
it.
you know what? How much you've done on your own is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It is amazing, and you love it. So at our wonderful family, we always want to know what is your next biggest goal that you're working on, and how can we help you achieve your next big goal?
Okay, I don't know if you guys can help me, but I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I want more kids, but my husband is like, we're done. So I want to take out my birth control and be accidentally pregnant.
Okay, well, I will pray that over you, girl. Take off that brother. We claim that in the name of
I would
Jesus.
say,
Every
"Oop,
baby's coming.
I want a baby. I want another one. I'm not done with two. I want more kids. I love kids. But that's one thing. That's my biggest goal, personal goal, and financial
Now,
goal.
he get mad if you accidentally turn up pregnant.
That's what I would say. Well, I forgot to tell you I took out the back control. What he's gonna do
Take it
now? The
out, girl.
pregnant.
You know what? He'll love it because he grew up where you grew up, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so he's probably,
His dad had two wives, so he has brothers and a lot of sisters. So I don't know why he doesn't
tell
want
him he
to.
cannot have any more wives. We don't do that over here.
No, 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 not him. No, no, no.
But
He
take
better
out the
not.
birth control. We're claiming in the name of Jesus. Yamun's having babies. You can also adopt some kids too.
I no, I do have 17. can adopt it. So I have started a nonprofit organization to help kids just like me. And I started with 4 kids for 5 years, and now I have added more. Now I have 17 in total.
Are they here in the States?
No, they're in Africa.
Nice. So you have 17
Yes.
kids that you adopt over there. And then there you're in control of their living situation a little bit
Yes.
better.
Yes. Yes, I am.
You are a powerhouse, honey. I have not met very few women at your age that
Oh,
have done this many things, and you're doing so many good things for humanity and stuff too.
thank you. Thank you so much. That
Take
means a
out
lot.
that birth control, girl, and have some more babies.
Yeah, that's my personal goal. My financial goal is I want to buy more commercial deals. I've always wanted to get into the self-storage facility. I just broke in. It's so hard to find a deal.
Yeah, it
Every
is.
time I find a deal, somebody just snatch it up. But that's I want to scale on the commercial side. Probably a strip mall. That's something I always wanted. A warehouse, build, those land that you buy, you convert it to warehouse and Amazon rents from you. I'm speaking it all out there. That's
Put it
that's
out
that's
there. Hey, listen, the Bible says God tells you to speak it into existence as if it already is.
yes, that's
So
what I'm trying.
when people tell me like, "Oh, I'm manifesting to the universe," I'm like, "No, don't do that. Do what the Bible says. Like the name of Jesus, I'm speaking this into the world. You speak it into existence as if it already is. Like God literally tells you how to get things that you want. Speak
Yeah.
them into existence. I have a strip
Mhm.
mall. I have this. Thank you, Lord, for that strip mall that's coming my way.
Yes, in
Keep
my
it,
religion,
keep it
in my
into Jesus, not into the whole universe. So that's a bunch of hoo ha.
yeah, in my religion, in the Quran, it says God is like how you imagine him too. So if you say God is gonna bless me with this, that's how you perceive him. You can get anything you want. It's like manifesting, but actually speaking it out spiritually. So
I do
yes,
it all the time.
I do all the time too. I do all the
I'm in this little town here. We're in Clinton, Iowa right now. My husband and I. We live in Colorado. We have a house in Florida, and he's from Clinton. We started coming back for high school reunions, and it's like they have this downtown, like right over here is the downtown. And I was like, Bill, this little downtown's like half of it's boarded up, and it looks like a little town if some right people got a hold of it and bought some buildings and fixed them up and put more businesses. This would be like a little antique shopping, food,
yeah.
so we
Mhm.
started doing that 5 years ago, and we have purchased 28 buildings.
Wow, that's
So we
amazing.
are straight out rehabbing a town. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
never thought. I mean, if you would even told me 10 years ago, hey, you guys are you're gonna turn around a town, I'd be like,
It's buying the block. It's
But
buying
then
the
they
block.
got one building, and I was like, Lord, we need more buildings. And, we want to turn this town around. And then we ended up, so we got a storage unit and a couple of that. And we've got the building right next door was a 4-story apartment building with 2 floors, commercial downstairs,
Oh my God.
2 floors of apartments, commercial at the top. And it's just like, we just, so I said, okay, so first of all, we're stopping at 28 because like, that's really a lot. But since we've come here, this little town, like every Thursday, they block off the downtown street and have music on the avenue. And like
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, like 1,700 people came out to
Wow.
listen to music downtown that don't even know that the downtown's
It's
vibing and changing and it's getting revitalized. And
yeah.
there's restaurants and we have an antique. So I had known nothing about this. We opened an antique store, a marketplace, and a coffee shop and a clothing boutique. It's like, well, I know enough. You get a building and you rent out 100 spaces to other vendors that bring in their
Yeah.
own things. I guess when they run the
Yeah.
cash register, I'll
Yeah.
do that. So we have personally, even in
I
my own
love
5 years,
the way your
done
mind
so many
works.
more things than I've ever done.
I love the way your mind was. I need to read all those books right there.
So I was just like, what the heck? So every time we're just like, Lord, just open the door. So we just do the same thing. We speak it into existence. The town
Yeah.
is getting better. It's getting amazing. Thank you for the
Build it and it
festival.
will come. Build
Build
it
it,
and
yeah. And like
yeah.
this Friday is a big giant sidewalk sale. The three, so the town is like the Mississippi River's here. So Illinois, and we
Mhm.
cross the bridge. We're in Iowa, so it's right across the bridge, the
Yeah.
Mississippi River. So
Mhm.
downtown, 3 blocks wide and 3 blocks deep. So it's just a little area.
Okay.
Well, by buying that extra 2 parcels of land, it gave us voting rights. So
Yeah.
extended it a block each way, which brought some other businesses in. And so
Wow.
now they're doing like Friday's a sidewalk sale. Everything's staying open until 10 o'clock at night. There'll be 1,000 people down here shopping. And we do wine walks and we do Halloween walks and we have Christmas and we do Christmas in
Awesome.
July. We
I
do
love
all this
that.
stuff, and I was like, there you go. And it's
That's
not all us.
all
It's
started
other
because of your idea. It
it's
all
not all
started
us. Other people had a business here and there, but if you have 3 blocks and half of them are boarded and half of them are open,
yeah,
people are down there, they feel kinda creepy about walking around.
yeah.
Now everything's open, even people that haven't finished their building on the inside, the outsides are done and beautiful, and it looks 100% different than it looked 5 years ago.
I love that. I
So what
love
do we do
that.
when we finish this town? Do we find another town? Like, what do
Another
we do?
town. It'd be fun to move to another town for like 1 year, 2 years, and build that up and say, yeah, we're done here. Let's go find another town.
Let's go find you don't have to come out here. You're not that far. You have to come out here to Clinton, Iowa sometime, stay for a couple days. I'll show you all of our stuff and what we
I
did.
will
And
love it. Are you gonna text me afterwards or
yeah,
give
yeah,
me your
yeah. I'll
number?
give you everything. But I'm telling
Okay.
you, it's amazing. My husband had health issues, so we weren't able to come for 2 years. But
Mhm.
during that time, everybody watched out for us, and other people and other investors said, "Hey, buy something in this town." And the whole town is like it's completely different than it was 5 years ago. And I was
Wow.
like, God had
Gentrified.
a hand in that, and I know for a fact that a lot of that happened because we didn't buy one building like everybody else does. We bought 20.
Yeah.
And we bought a couple more, and then we bought a couple more, and then we're like, how many do we need to control the vote on what happens downtown? Like, well, if you have 28 parcels, so 2 blocks over was a storage unit, and then 3 big giant buildings side by side, but each one was a parcel, and they're like for semi trucks, and they have all the cranes in them, and the parking lot. So it was like 5 or 6 parcels. Well, that put us over the vote. So
Oh,
the next town meeting, we're saying, "Oh, we want to do music and this," and like, "No," and I said, "No, but we have extra votes now, so here's what
yeah.
we're going to do."
That's power
So,
right there.
I'm like, "Listen, I'm a gangster. I tried to play nice with everybody, and I got half my stuff voted down for a year." I was like, "No, I don't play like that. I have a big dream, a big vision, and y'all won't vote with me because, oh, we tried it 10 years ago, it didn't work." I'm like, "But look at the town now." So
Yeah.
we got enough parcels, and they just go, "Okay, what do you guys want to do?" It's like, "Oh, glad you
Mm,
asked."
that's amazing. I love that.
So
I
you're a
love
gangster too, honey.
we're gangsters.
That's it. That's what you gotta be. Hey, listen,
The
and
daughter and you the
it's
mommy
all for the good of
gangster.
everybody, you know.
Yes.
Every business downtown is like, man, I can't believe how much better we're doing than we did a couple years ago. It's like,
Amazing. You're just
I'm
changing lives. That's
changing
amazing.
lives, changing lives. Again, tell me how people reach you.
Yeah, you can reach me on Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram on building wealth from rental, and also on Facebook and YouTube, building wealth from rentals.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
I would love to have you back on like in a year and see what you're up to. You're one of the people I really like to follow along, and I will send you. We'll text when I'm done. And if you ever get a chance to come out here while we're here, I would
Of
be so
course.
happy to have you come and just kind of show
I
you like
love.
something bigger that like I wouldn't have thought of something like this when I was 35. I only started investing when I was 30, but now I'm 65. It's like look what we got
You,
going on now,
you look like 48.
girl. 65.
You're
I don't know how
amazing.
that happened. It's like, I don't know, I just woke up one day, it's like, "Oh my god, I'm 65. How'd
I
that
know.
happen?"
Time goes by. Like I feel like just yesterday I gave birth to my daughter. She's now one. I'm like, how did you even become one? Like I can remember being pregnant. Just it's
That's
crazy.
how I felt. My daughter turned 35 in December. I was like, "God, I remember just like, oh," and I said, "Now you're 35." I don't understand how the time went because I still feel I think in my mind, I'm, like, stuck at 35.
Yeah.
I was working, I was rehabbing, I was in good shape, I was having kids. I was like the Girl Scout mom, the cookie mom, the homeroom mom, and so mentally so I think that's part of what helps me
Yeah.
youthful is because
Yeah.
my mind is like
I
I see
love
these
that.
women in this town that graduated with my husband, and he's 66, and they look like they're 100 years old. It's like
Yeah. I think
nobody
it's
colors
the
their hair.
mindset and how you carry
They're
yourself.
all overweight. They all walk like they're half dead, and it's like they're the same age as we are. I don't understand. Mindset.
It's all you. God leave it up to you to work on your mindset.
That's it. That's it. Okay, so I have one more thing for you. So everyone, if you enjoyed the show today, which I know you did, because I have to tell you, I think you might be my favorite guest of all time.
Oh,
You just came from such a place of hardship that no one in America can really understand that. We really can't. I mean, the worst poverty that we have is like the inner cities and things like the Appalachian Mountains. I just don't think people can understand what you came from to be who you are, and it didn't taint you. Like you have a good spirit and you're happy and you're like glowing. And it's really, you are really a 1 in a million person. You need to claim that and accept that for yourself because I'm telling
Thank,
you that you are.
thank you so much. Means a
So
lot.
everyone that's listening, if you had a good time today, which I know you did, it's really important for those of us that do podcasts to have you follow, leave a 5-star review, and write something about how great it was. Also, follow me at Dwanderful on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the places, LinkedIn, Dwanderful. So what I did, Yamu, is I took my name Dwan and
Yeah,
Wonderful, and I made a new word,
yeah,
and
I
I'm
love it.
wonderful.
I love it. And you are wonderful. You actually looked wonderful. I
I'm
love it.
wonderful. So
You
that's how
are.
that came to be. I just did a play on my name. I thought, that's kind of fun.
It's very nice.
And
Thank
so
you.
the last thing is I always like my guests to leave us just with one parting word of wisdom, but
Mhm.
just one single word.
One single word. Consistency.
I like that. So everyone that listens knows I tell them to take a little yellow sticky, write the word consistency, put it up on their mirror, and every day that's the word of the week in the wonderful world. Consistency, consistency. But we want to know what it means to you.
Consistency means don't give up. Every time you work on something, you don't go halfway and say, it's hard, I'm gonna leave. If I had done that, I would never be where I am right now. So I
No,
keep doing the same thing. School, I keep studying, even though I'm getting people telling me, oh, you're gonna go and get married soon. Why are you even like disturbing yourself and studying this hard? You're gonna eventually drop out and go get married like everyone else. I keep pushing. I consistency. The same thing on my real estate business, the same thing in my applications to universities, consistency. I'm applying to different universities. The same thing with the banks, contacting all the banks. I'm getting rejection. I'm still consistent on doing what I keep doing, what I believe in, and God gave me what I prayed for and more. Yeah,
amen,
consistency.
girl. Amen. I love it. So that's what it means, folks. Just don't give up. And I tell people all the time. People, I do a lot of coaching and mentoring, and people go, "Oh, that one deal was so hard. I don't know if this is for me." It's like it's one deal. I'm 2,000 deals in a town. Don't tell me it's hard. I know it's hard, but if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Everybody will do it. If it was easy, there would be no property left for you to buy in the first place.
Right. So, all right. So and again, thank you. I'm just really humbled to meet you. I love your heart so much. I can't even tell you how much I love you.
Thank
And everyone will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. All right, everybody. Ciao. We'll see you next
Bye.
week. And
Bye.
Yamu, thank you so much for being on. You have just been such a joy.
Oh,
See you
thank you
next week,
so much.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
You just had a taste of the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. So just one more thing before you go. If you laughed, if you learned something, please leave a 5-star review. Don't be a gatekeeper. Share it with everyone that you know. And I'll see you back here next week for the most wonderful real estate podcast ever.